Hey guys, come on in. Today I am using up a bunch of scraps that I had left over, both paper and like cardboard, chipboard, um, and turning them into mini albums. So come on in and say hi. This is one of the latest albums that I've made, and I made a couple of these. And in making them, of course, it leaves like tons of leftover paper and stuff. Uh, so I'm like, well, instead of just throwing all this out, let's go ahead and make some small ones. And so just to give you a quick tour of this album that I made, I think it's a 6x8, and it has little pockets for you to like stick stuff in. I'm using this for like, I subscribe to this Christian like sticker subscription, and every month they send me some stickers that you're supposed to like use for Bible journaling, but I'm not very good at that. So instead of doing the Bible journaling, I wanted to create my own kind of like traveler's notebook style. And so I just did a basic album, and then I added these little like elastic rings. And then every month when they send me their little like sticker kit, and then it also has printables, then I will just kind of work on it through there. And then I can just add it to the album using one of these elastic bands. Just like that. And then when I'm working in it, I can just pull it out, so I don't have to like carry the whole album with me whenever I'm like journaling or whatever. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I thought, well, I have these, I can make some other ones using the leftover scraps. So that's what all this is. I went ahead and trimmed the scraps to just different sizes, and then I'm going to just use papers that I have to kind of cover them. And I'll just show you my process. Is very easy. I like to use like the two cover pieces and then a spine. So I've got different size spines. Like this one is a little bit wider than that one. So I thought it would be pretty cool to go ahead and do those. So literally all you have to do is just kind of start with your cover, your front and back cover, and then however wide you want your spine to be. So if I'm like measuring, this one is about 3.5 by 2.5. So these are 3.5 by 2.5. Let me write it on there. 3.5 by 2.5. And then so that means that this spine is actually 1/2 inch by 3.5. So this is like 1/2 by 3.5. Okay, and so usually on my bigger albums, I like to have like a 1-inch border all the way around, but let's see. What do I have over here that we can use? And again, like I really am working on not being so wasteful this year, so I think this one will work out pretty well. If I do it this way, yes, we can fit it in. And so I'm thinking probably 1/2 inch border around here. So that'll cut that one there. And then I'm going to use my mini cutter. Just slice that up, and then cut a second one. And I probably could have just, if the paper was big enough, just laid all three of them together on there, but yeah, okay. And then for my spine, I'm gonna need, ooh, it's cutting it close. Maybe I'll do a spine a different color, just because I don't have enough. So we can do like, let's see, this blue. And about right here. All right. And then give it a little. For the bigger journal, I actually like use precise measurements. So, but just because these are my scraps, I'm just eyeballing it. If you're interested in making one of these journals, I think I'm going to do a how-to video. But if you click the link, my bio, it actually has the cutting, like all the measurements and stuff. So we're going to have here, and then there. Okay. And all we're going to do is just glue it down. Make sure that you leave equal amount of space between. You could use glue, you could use double-sided tape. I just like to use the little Barely Art glue. Only thing about this is sometimes the nozzle gets clogged. So I may have to change this out. Let's see. Yep, that was the problem. Okay, so just get a good amount of glue on there. And then you want to center it. Okay. Do that here. And same thing with the spine. Get it in the center. Okay. And then our last piece. And if you were doing like a bunch of these, you probably could have measured out all your papers and then just have like an assembly line going. But I wanted to just show you guys my process really quick. Then I'm going to just trim my ends. Well, trim the corners. Leave a little bit of space. Like right here. So don't cut all the way up to the edge, but pretty close. We call this miter, like mitering your edges. And then I'm going to fold these over. Okay. And then do the same for all these. Just miter the edges. And then here. Okay. And then go ahead and just fold everything up. And then start gluing it down. Again, like with the bigger albums, I would also use double-sided tape in addition to glue. But for these, just little fun things. Probably give them to my granddaughter to do her drawings in. Or you can make notepads, all kinds of stuff. Just add your glue. And you got one cover. And we're gonna do the other cover. And the process is the same. Like these are just basic. album where you get creative is like all the different things you can add in there. So just make sure that they're all glued down. Now for this one, we're going to do the spine a little bit different because we're going to use it to connect these two pieces. So I like to just glue the bottom part first, hold it down, and then the top part. Just give it a minute to set. And then instead of gluing here, you're actually going to glue on this side because this is how we're going to connect the two sides together. Okay, so let me show you. I'm going to glue here, and then you just line it up, and then you fold it over. Then I'll fold it this way and really give it a good press so that it stays. Okay, so now you have that this way, and then you're going to do the same thing to the other side. Put glue on the outside. Line it up. And then go ahead and make sure it is stuck. Okay, so now you have here, it's a basic album. See that? With a spine. And then you would cover off the inside. So picking another paper. So if I wanted to just pull in like this paper from the spine, again, I am using like all my scraps. I can actually just trim this down a little bit and just use this one sheet. I'm going to leave just a little bit of border along the edges. So I'm going to mark off like maybe about right here. And then just trim it. If you guys have any questions, please stop me so that I want to answer your questions. But as you can see, this process is so simple and I get to use up my scraps. And again, because this is quick and easy, I'm like not doing like precise measurements, just kind of eyeballing everything. Okay. So then you would have this to fit there. And if you notice like here, when I do this one, you can see like a little bit of space of the chipboard. If that bothers you, then you probably don't cut the spine, those slits, up so high. But it doesn't really bother me because it is, again, just a little play album. Right, and then we're going to glue it down, center it where you want it. It's a little crooked. Okay, I'm going to take my little scoring tool and try to score just a little bit where that spine meets, and just carefully fold the paper up so that it does not rip. Okay, and do the same thing on the other side. And then again, just kind of folding it up. Okay, and there you have your first little mini album. And then again, like on the bigger one, you see I have these like traveler's notebook bands. I think I got these from Daiso, where then you can like slip in your little booklets. So I think I have some smaller ones. Let's see if they'll fit. maybe a little bit big. They're a little bit too big, but it still works. You can probably use a hair tie if you have those. Yep. So you can put 2 on there, just like a traveler's notebook. If you have like a little eyelet, you can punch a hole there, put it in. And if I wanted to just make like maybe some papers that would fit in here. Let's see, a little booklet. It would be, measure here. This would be the fold. So, so you would get any scrap paper that you have that's like laying around, measure in this size, and you could put it inside to make your little booklets, even if it's not all the same size. That's too small. I've got some pink paper. Light pink. And so we're just literally making our own little signature of pages. Yeah. To go inside our book. Anybody else on here make albums? Make your own custom albums, notebooks? Okay, so I have a couple of sheets. And then we'll just fold them over. If I want that to be the cover. If this is too thick for my little paper trimmer to cut. Yep. Just bring out the heavy duty. I have a heavy duty paper cutter. Okay, so here's the booklet, and then if you have a stapler, do somewhere. And then you would just take it and literally slide it in here. And then you have some pages. You can add your pictures, your doodles, whatever you may want inside the book. And then there's space for another one to do. So yeah, that is one way to create a little mini notebook. I also like to, if you look at the bigger ones that I created, I like to mix and match paper, because then you can decorate it however you want it. So this is just like regular plain white cardstock. I found a sheet of colored cardstock. This is mixed media paper. So if I want a watercolor or acrylic paint or stamp, I can do that here. In this one, I added a piece of vellum. This is just a piece of design, regular paper. This is like it's a printer paper, but it's just a little bit heavier weight than your traditional printer paper. And then it kind of repeats itself. So I do like to definitely mix and match different papers and also different sizes. And so this is another great way for you to like use up your scraps. Okay. All right. So let's see. That was this one. Let's do one more together. Let's try to do one where we just use like one full sheet of paper. So this one may not be a scrap, a full scrap. I would need like a 12 by 12. See any other mini ones? Could put all these scraps in my way. This one, I think that was the smallest one that I had out here. Okay, let's go to my stash. You know how sometimes, let's use this piece of paper. It's pretty thin, but let's try it. And some these out the way. Okay, so again, for this one, I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to lay them out how we want them. So again, I want just a little bit, like an inch here. And then we need space between the spine and the book. Just a little bit of space, not a lot, like that. And then the other sheet. And these are a little less than 4 by 3.5. Okay. So we glue them down this way, and then I will cut. So we're going to glue. And then leave a border around bottom and the side. And glue our spine down. Leave a little bit of space between this and the spine. Don't need too much, just a little bit, so it can fold over. Okay, then our other piece. I'm going to turn it over and smooth it out. Have a little and then just grab your scissors and trim. Try to eyeball the same amount of space. Doesn't have to be perfect. On the sides and on the top. There you go. Now you got a bigger scrap to put some more stuff with. Okay, and then similar to before, I'm going to just trim just the sides. Leave some space right there. And just fold over. Add some glue. Here. And then we're going to do our top. And by doing this, you're like making a really clean finish on your album. Okay, make sure all the edges are secure. And so now you have this piece. Okay, what does it look like? Kind of looks like a binder. Make sure you let it dry. And then you would figure out what do you want for your inside. So let's see if I have any scraps. That's perfect. I just need to trim it down a little bit. So that'll go like this. And I'll probably trim about right here. All right. Using the first scraps. And just go ahead and glue it down. Get it where you want it and secure it. Especially on the edges. And then just like before, you want to grab your scoring tool and just gently score where the fold is. And then score in as you bend. This is just so the paper doesn't rip. You want to do it while the glue is a little bit wet. Okay. Yeah. So now we have this album. Look at that. And then if you wanted to create like an insert or something, let's make an insert for this mini album. Let's get a little fancy. Clear up some of my space to see what we have to work with. So I'm thinking for this album, we can do an insert that's gonna be about here. Actually, let's do this one because it's only because this is actually they're about the same. We'll stick with it. And so I'm gonna just trim it down. Okay, so that's here. And then it's gonna be about right here. Okay, so this will be our base. And now we wanna figure out what do we want to go with our insert. We can do a little flap. I got a scrap here. It's darker. We can make it a pocket. They're about almost the same height. Let's see what else we have. This one can be a flap down. Let's go with this one. And I'm going to leave a little bit here because I'm going to score right there. You'll see what, watch. I'm going to cut it here. And then fold, or if you have a scoring board, you can use your scoring board. Okay, so this is our base. And then I'm going to make a flap here. So put glue here. Actually, let's switch that. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to switch. I want the flap to go behind it so you don't see it. I want this to be clean cut. So let me wipe that off. Instead, I'm going to put glue underneath it. And then I'm going to attach it to the back. So it looks really clean when it's in the book. Center it. Okay. So what I mean is, you see how this piece is here? I don't want to be able to see that when you lift it up. So when we glue this in, and then I go to lift this flap, you won't see it. It'll be super neat. So let's do that. And then let's do, what is this? Oh, we have these two. Okay, let's cut this. And then let's just fold it a little bit to score. Okay. And same thing over here. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to glue it to the back of that. So we're going to take these flaps, and one is going to go this way, like this, and one is going to go this way. So then you won't see. It'll all be on the back when you glue it down. Okay? That. You decide how far down you want it to go. Maybe like here. See that? So this becomes a closure for this one. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay. And then you have a flap here, a flap here, and a flap here. Okay, so there's that one. You can create, sometimes I like to do like a little sliding closure here. We can do, let's see if we can do this here. And it'll slide to keep this closed. So we will mark this off probably like, let's see, fold this over here. Make sure it can still slide. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna just put some glue and glue it down. I'm not worried too much about it like not being even right there, because I plan to like add some ephemera or some other things right here that will block that. So now this slides. I was gonna cut this, but I kind of like the little tail. Okay, so okay, I lied. That is bothering me, so I'm going to just trim it just a little bit. Okay. Sorry, here come these loud people. Excuse me. Can we not be so loud? Thank you. I'm gonna trim it down a little bit. Okay, that makes me feel better. So then I have this. And then I can use this to slide it to open it. So like now it'll open this way. When I want to close it, just put it back and it goes there like so. So we've created this little element for our book that will then go in right here. So when it's done, I probably would trim it just a little bit so that it lines up, but yeah. I want to make a pocket for the side over here. So let's see, what do I have for my pocket? There's a scrap here. Actually, this will be perfect because I'm going to score on their sides around. So let's score here. So we score this side. Let's score on this side. And let's score on the bottom. Okay, so we just scored on all three sides. And I'm going to, again, just like with the other ones, I'm going to just trim the corner a little bit so that when they fold over, it doesn't make it like bulky right there at the bottom. Let's check our measurements. So once it's folded, it'll be a little pocket right here. Okay. So I like to glue the bottom first. Just kind of center it where you want it. Okay, and then you add glue on your sides and do the same thing. Okay, so you can go ahead and glue this in as well. Make sure that it is all secure. I'm going to open this up and really make sure that it is locked down up in there. Put that down. Okay, and then now I can see where I want to trim this little tail. Okay. If you want to, you can add a flap to this. Again, still using scraps. Let's see, about right here to cut it. And then we are going to score it twice. And this one is called a gusset. And what that does is just gives it a little bit more space to expand when you're doing pockets, or in this case, like a flap closure. So you're scoring it essentially twice. And this little area right here is called the gusset. So I'm only going to glue the bottommost portion, and that's going to go here. And if I want to, I could round the corners or not. For this, I'm just not going to round it. But normally I round the corners. Okay. And then you just kind of figure out where you want it to how far you want it to be. Set it down. Oops. Yep. Go ahead and secure it down. So then you have this little pocket. Okay. So now you could add also some pages directly to the spine. So we've kind of put elements on the front and back cover, but now let's put some sheets that I can actually post or glue things on. So let's see. What do my scraps look like? Oh, I think this orange will be great because, well, I want to be able to get at least two sheets out of here. So let's find a middle. Okay. And then I'm just going to take the sides and again score here. I don't remember which side I cut. Okay, and score here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Go ahead and tell me where you're tuning in from. I'm from sunny California. Okay, so we can do this a couple of ways. We can do it like this. Yeah, I like this because it hides this part. And then we could do the second one on top. Let's see. Let's go with it. Here's my, yeah. I'm going to line it up like with this fold, but not directly on it. So as close to it as possible without getting on it. So like that. Okay, so that's one. And then the second one would just do the same thing. Let's see. Same thing, just line it up. And this one is a little bit over here. Let's clean up any extra glue. Okay, so now we have our two little pages, and you could even go further with these and like you could do a little flap here. Could do a pocket. We did a pocket already. We did a flap up. We did flaps to the side. Trying to think what else could we do. You could do a flap down. You could do a tuck band. Or you could just leave it as is and then just put two pictures here too. Okay, so our book is coming along. As you can see here, you have the pocket with the flap. You have two pages, and you can also add to these pages. Like if you wanted another page to fold out, you could just keep building it and building it and building it. That's the cool part about this. And because you have this spine to work with, it can get pretty thick. Let's decorate this. Let's stop here and let's decorate it. so that we can actually have a finished product before we end this live. I want to try to get it done in the next 15 minutes. What do y'all think? I want the pocket to actually match the cover, so we do have more of this available. So let's go ahead and I'm going to mark on the back side for this. I like to leave just a smidget of a border on that. So we've got this, and let's mark the bottom. It'll be about right here. Let's see here. Yep, perfect. The glue, get it down where you want it. Okay, so you have that one. This we want it to be in the background. Perfect. Look at that. See, scraps just work out for us. Right, there's that, and then we have the cover of the here. We can do the same thing, or we could do, let's just stay on brand, as they say. Okay, we'll get this about right here. This mini paper trimmer comes in handy. Actually, I'm gonna need to use this for a second because it is tiny. Right here. Oh, there's a mark. There's a mark right there. Let's try this way. Okay, yes, perfect. Okay, there's that. Right, our pocket is decorated. You could also add a piece right there if you wanted to. I think I'm gonna let that be for now. And then come over here and let's also do a polka dot just on this one. Let me trim this down so it'll fit in my cutter. That side is crooked. Is it crooked? Something's crooked. I think this is crooked. Go here and like right here. It may be a little crooked, but we just gonna roll with it. On there. Okay. Now I have this little piece. Nope, I don't want to do that. Okay, so now we have these things. I know I have some more scrap, like rainbow colored paper somewhere. Let's see. Oh, one of my headphones is dying. Which one is it? No, it says 59%. I don't know why I made that noise. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, let me know. I have these cute bowls. Let's go with it. Scraps. Uh-oh. Okay, let's see. Let's go with this here. I'm going to go here and here. And then it goes all the way to here. Cut this off first. And save those scraps. Mm-hmm. All right, we've got that. You could put another piece here as well. So now when it's closed, get these glue things. When it's closed, it looks like that. So let's get, I kind of want like some stripes or something that I know I have. I like this. Okay, let's see if it's long enough. See, this is, when you have your paper pads and it has the little thing at the top. Sometimes you got to save that too, because look at that. It fits perfectly in this space. So I'm going to trim, let's say, at the yellow. See that? And it goes great with the stripes of the bow. Perfect. So this goes here. And then for this one, same thing. I'm going to trim it like at the yellow. Oh, 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Can I finish this in 5 minutes? I want this live to be an hour. Okay, so what are we going to do with this little cutie? Let's see. Looking at these, I have another one. I have some bigger polka dots. I have this, the scalloped edge. Because if we do it this way, what do y'all think? The scalloped edge? I'm going to go with it. Okay, I'm going to cut it about right here. Okay. Where'd it go? Here it is. We have this. Look at that. Perfect. Now I can really see how crooked that bottom is, so I'm going to just trim it really quick so that, okay, so now we have this element. Let's just slide it on, slide it all the way over to get the other part on, and there you go. See that? And then it just slides. But I want to put, I like this bow. Oh, you know what? I think I have. Let's go to the ephemera box. 3 minutes. I think I have a cardstock bow. Those are too big. Come on, come on. This one. That one actually fits. Let's see if there's any other colors. I think those are just mainly going to be pink. Yeah. Okay. So what I'm going to do is glue this here. So I'm going to put the glue directly here so I don't put too much. Okay. And then we can set that there. Press down. Clean up any extra that comes out like that. And now this slides. So cool. Okay, 2 minutes. What can I do in 2 minutes? You could add something to the cover. These pages, I would just put like maybe frames for your photo. So you could just get like a sheet of solid paper and do that there. I won't use this one because you see it has my little marks, but I could also just do it like this, but then there's that, so that won't work. I could use the bow paper and just kind of frame that. I like this bow here. Let's cut it at the top of there. And then we're gonna go for this one. Right here. So there. That one will go here and it will end. Oh, this is crooked. See, that is crooked. I'm gonna have to fix that with the X-Acto knife, so I'll do that in a little bit. But here, and we will stop it about right here. Okay. All right. Let's see. There we go. All right, so here's our cute little booklet with our pocket. You could easily put stuff in there. Like pages. And then you've got your hook. And we have our other book. All right, well, thanks for joining me as we made our little mini books. I'll see this one probably gonna have to trim down. So I'll trim that down. I'll post pictures of the final decorated books. And if you have any questions, make sure you drop them in the comments. If you're interested in learning how to make your own album, this is our signature album that has little bands. I'm going to do a live where we'll actually walk through making this. It has the pocket. These have magnets. If you click the link in the bio, it has the download to get the cutting guide to be able to cut this. So make sure that you do that as well. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. Talk to you later.